righty, let's see. I may have to move my light. I feel like I've got worse lighting tonight than I did last time. I think I'm going to move that light. I think I had it in a good spot before I went live. I'll see. Ah, that's really glaring. All right, well, let's point it away and point the camera away a little bit. I don't know, we'll see. If that's gonna, nope, that's gonna be garbage. What's up, Jumpman 111? Clutch 424, you're back! Welcome! Glad to have you. As always, I am just struggling with this light. That's a bummer. Let's see, maybe we can put it here. Maybe it'll be just, it's probably gonna be really, really harsh. It's harsh in my mellow, guys. Yeah, that's gonna be way too much. If we can bounce it off. Nope, that's garbage. You guys, I'm struggling. I'm struggling to get something decent going here. Oh well. We'll deal with it. Ricardo, how are you doing? Glad to have you. Just trying to get my lighting situated because I'm ill-planned, ill-prepared. Ill-planned and ill-prepared. So, I think all of you dropped by last time when I started this project. Well, I didn't really start it technically, but put it to me since I'm talking. We're just going to continue on with this project. I've got a lot of brickwork. Basically, and I already explained, I'm not telling you what. Ooh, we'll cover the light just like that. I'm not actually going to explain what I'm making. You know that. I've already explained it. I've just got a butt ton more of brickwork to do. So I figured I don't want to do this alone. So I figured, you know what? Let's have you guys join me, and we can chat a little bit while I work. So I think what I'm going to do, so you can see these long pieces. I hadn't done these long pieces yet, but I don't know. I think that turned out pretty darn good. Nightshade, what's up? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we're going to work on this next pillar. We're going to get rid of that glare by moving the camera off of me and onto the project. And you know what? What might work? Move the camera over here. Get a different vantage point. We'll see. Maybe that will work a little bit better for our lighting. We shall see. Hopefully it's looking okay. I got to move my computer here. Missed the first one. Catching up on this one. Well, luckily, I pretty much have just a bunch more brickwork to do. So that's what we're gonna do. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tone this light down. I'm sorry for all the lighting issues. I thought I had it situated. Oops, I did not. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and tamp that down. So we're going to put something over the light to diffuse it just a hair. There, that might be a little bit less harsh. Sweet. All right. So previously, basically what I got to do here is I'm going to line this up, and I got to figure out the main thing that I did the other night that you guys weren't privy to is I started working on this column-like wall, and essentially, move the microphone. Essentially, what I had to figure out is, I'm all over the place here, is I had to figure out where to start my brick and what the width the actual depth of my bricks. And that reminds me, I need to bring up my notebook so that I have all of my notes for my dimensions, because I don't remember all of that stuff. So I see we got a few of you guys on the feed. That's awesome. Welcome. Sound off if you guys are working on anything tonight or have been working on anything relatively recently. I really am interested to know what everybody's working on, because I just think that it's cool to see what others are doing over in the diorama world. So let me know what you're working on. I'd love to hear it if you're working on anything. One other thing that I thought I would note, you may notice that there seems to be some pretty good damage here on my piece of foam. That I am planning on repairing. Some of that. Some of it may be left as damage, but some of it I'm going to repair, and it'll probably get repaired with some drywall mud and what have you. So I'm just going to tape one more thing. There. I think we're decent now for light. Cool. All right, so I'm going to try and line this up so that both sides basically have the same, it's just kind of uniform for which brick gets cut off and which one is the full length, blah, blah, blah. Got my ruler. Okay, what do we got? Working on a scrap metal facility. Awesome. And Clutch 424 going to the hobby shop tomorrow to grab some paints. What are we painting? I think you were working on a diorama. I forget what exactly it was. And then Judson Osgood, welcome. Gotten project foam so far. Now I need time to actually start your first attempt at a dio. So, Judson, you got any ideas as to, that's right, a loading dock. I remember that now. So, Judson, do you have ideas as to what you're going to work on? Like what your first project is probably going to be? All right, so these are 17 millimeters long. Now I remember, and we are off and starting. All right, so if you're not familiar with how this format works, I am going to try and do as much talking as I can, but when I really get into it, into the nuts and bolts of this work, I may not talk near as much. So hopefully you're in and up for some very exciting dialogue. I have no idea how long I'm going to work on this, but this time I am enjoying unsponsored an adult beverage. So perhaps my dialogue will get a little more interesting as the night progresses. So join me for that. I mean, when I say more interesting, it's not going to be anything super amazing. Not like by the end of the night, I'm going to be tearing my shirt off and screaming down the road or anything like that. Nobody would want to see that anyway. I don't even want to see that. And it's me. All right, so basically, since I'm going the lengthwise of this, I can't use my square. It's just not as reliable. So I am marking a second set of marks just to get a relatively square line going across. And these are all 17 millimeter lengthwise, oh, not from there, bricks, standard red brick. Not sure if you were on the live stream last time, I talked about what the standard brick size is for red brick. It really, they say it's standard, but there are multiple different standards, if you will. So I don't know. It is what it is. All right. What do we got? Thinking about a brownstone. Can't talk. I'm back to that. All right. So you got some foam. Thinking about a brownstone or similar building front. Been looking for some inspiration. Question: how much pre-planning, designing have you done for this dio? Okay, so let's talk to you. So I got the microphone over here. Pre-planning. I put in a fair amount of work planning, but what I'm working on is actually a replica of something that exists out in the real world. So it doesn't require near as much like planning, making stuff up. It's mostly getting the pictures and finding good pictures of it out in the real world, because I've never been to this place. And then what I do is, for this particular one, I actually, I figured out what the brick sizes were and all of that. And then once I knew what brick size it was based off of knowing what kind of brick they were using, then I was able to go in on the picture and count and figure out exactly how high it's going to be, how wide it needs to be. And then I calculated all of that down to a 1/12 scale to see, is it feasible within a 24-inch sheet of stuff. And then I've documented all of the different heights where things are slightly different. It does take a lot of planning, but I think it's less planning when you're copying something that kind of resides in the real world. So hopefully that, in terms of how much actual time it took me, it probably took me one night, a couple hours of searching and whatnot. So not a huge amount of time, not compared to all the brickwork. All right. So Judson, want to try to make a bat cave for the animated series dio. Awesome. Okay. So that's awesome. I got my very first Batman animated series figure. I got the Harley Quinn, and I scored her for a whopping $15. So I thought that was a pretty darn good deal. For $15, let's get this kind of situated. Hopefully you guys can see. I've got the camera angled a little different than last night, mostly because my lighting is just, it's acting up on me. So hopefully you guys can see. If you can, that'd be awesome. If you can't, I apologize. So Batcave, that's pretty darn cool. Have you watched any videos to kind of get a good understanding of how to do rock work? That's one thing that I haven't really jumped into much, is doing rock work yet. And that's one of the things that I want to kind of jump into and start doing. So if you have, do you remember whose videos it was that you were checking out? Otherwise, if you're not needing or not watching any videos, what is going to be your approach to doing it? I'm kind of interested because I haven't done a lot of rock work. I've done some, but not a lot. I do a lot of brickwork, as you can see. All right. First set. Doesn't look like I screwed any of them up. Woo! Hopefully I don't wake my children up too much. All right, what do we got here? IE Hunter, what up, dude? Just here with no TRU, Dio. I know, sorry, dude. I'm gonna watch you so I can make a bootleg TRU. That's awesome. Anybody could do it. I really, really believe that for, obviously the really complex dioramas, it takes a lot of skill. But for the most part, pretty much anybody can do it. I mean, takes some attention to detail, it takes some patience, but anybody can do this. So don't let yourself believe that you aren't capable of making something really, really cool. And one of the biggest things I found is if you are willing to put in the time to watch different videos, then you're definitely gonna be able to do it. What's up, Jetta Patrol in the house, dude? How are you doing, sir? It's been a bit since we have talked. I have been crazy busy. This is actually only like the second video I've been able to get up on my channel in the last couple of weeks. It's been ridiculous. So how are you doing, Jetta? And those of you that are not aware, which I can't imagine who isn't aware by now, but go check out Jetta's channel. Go check out IE Hunter's channel. I'm always jealous of Sir IE, who lives on the West Coast and is able to score the new Marvel Legends pre-street date. And I will forever be jealous of him and all of his cohorts. But, i.e., what kind of dio am I making? I am making an awesome dio. That's the kind of dio I am making. That was kind of a dink answer. I'm actually not at liberty to say what kind of diorama I am making. That is the kind of diorama that I am making. It's a secret. I can't talk about it. Okay. So I referenced the dimensions, but what about the underlying engineering structure? So you mean the basically the wall and the ground. How am I doing that? That's what I assume. It's really simple. I've got a ground piece. Can't see me. I got a ground piece, and then I've got a wall. That's about it. That's the extent of the planning. Aside from, okay, so there is some design work involved here. Let's find this piece. So I've got cross pieces that are going into these slots. This just kind of came up on a whim, and it's mostly, I've done this before. I did this with my brownstone diorama that I did ages ago. And that seemed to work pretty good to kind of cut a slot out so that I could slide it in. And the reason that I wanted this, I didn't want to have it be butted up, is if you don't get it absolutely perfectly straight, then you're going to get weird gaps. And so I wanted to have it just slide in. And then the other piece is because I wanted to have a little bit of depth between this cross piece, or I guess it's a front piece. So front piece would go like this. You can see how there's that little bit of depth there. I wanted to have that depth, but also have this be able to hold itself together without having magnets or anything. But I also wanted it to come apart so that when I ship this thing, it can go into a really small box. So, yeah, okay. So yes, there is a fair amount of engineering, I guess, in that. But it took, I guess, on a whim, it just came to my mind that I would do that. And then it was a matter of, I've got a little Dremel that I just Dremeled this out, and then I've got a sanding block that happens to be the exact same width as my 1-inch foam board, and I just sanded it out, and it doesn't need to be perfect. So that hopefully answers your question. So Clutch 424 got to work early. Not a problem, dude. Enjoy your sleep. All right, I'm watching lots of videos. Most seem to either use plaster of Paris or they cut foam. Runehammer has been the most helpful so far. He makes stuff for D&D. Yes. Yeah, and so the D&D stuff, and I'm going to go back to on-camera work. Where was I going? Oh, yeah, they do. Their scale is really, really small. So it's, I think it's a little bit easier to work with some of that other sculpt stuff instead of foam for them, because you can get more detail into a smaller piece. But with a 1/12 scale, it's pretty easy to get rock look with this foam board. Now, you can't use that really coarse packing foam that you get where it's basically little granular balls all melted or glued together, essentially, because you can't get nice little cuts. But with this foam, you can easily cut it, or you can break it off into pieces, and you can really sculpt it and make it look like real rock. And i.e., I saw your comment about why does everybody do everything in brick? One, brick is really easy to design and really easy to do. So I'm not going to give you some, oh, it's the most complex thing or anything like that. It's actually really, really easy. Two, on the same easy, I guess, theme is not only is it easy, it's also, what was my two? Shoot. Oh, it's hard to mess up. So it's easy to do just in general, but it's also hard to mess up unless you just don't pay a whole heck of a lot of attention. So there's that. And it's amazing if you want to do cool looking buildings, and not everybody does do all brick. And some of mine, even though it's a lot of brick, there are going to be accent pieces that are going to cover some of this stuff. So I don't technically have to brick the entire thing, but because I don't know exactly where I'm putting all of that yet, I'm bricking the whole dang thing. All right, so not everybody does do all brick, but there is, I will admit, there is a lot of brick, and I am trying to work my way out of doing quite so much brick. All right, so I'm going to do some depth here. I need 7.67, so about almost 8 to bring in these edge pieces. So 7, right around there. And we're going to also have it on this side. 7-ish. Bam. And then we're going to do the same up here. 5, 6, 7, almost 8-ish. And 5, 6, 7, 8-ish. All right, cool. Oh, then I gotta do the rest. 10, 15, 17, and 10, 17. Okay, so that got a little bit too big. So we're going to move all of these over just a hair. Dirt. There we go. And then we're going to get these. Okay, so I got somebody at my door. Enter, child. 10, 15, 17. You can come in. Yes. We are live on YouTube.
Okay, I don't really care.
Okay, what's up?
You never told us the time.
Oh, yeah. 9:30.
Okay, I was... Wait, Buff, I'm gonna have to get a new book.
That's fine. 9:30.
I need to smell where the camera. Where's the camera?
No.
Oh, man.
No.
Do that for me.
Okay, close the door, please. Not all the way, just... There we go. Okay, we're back. I neglected to tell my children what time they needed to put their books down and go to sleep. Parenting 101, never forget. Oh, we got to bring this over a little bit too. Otherwise my bricks are too big. Okay, that'll be good. Cool. All right, I'm not seeing any comments, so something must have happened to my commenting machine. So I need somebody to drop a comment just to let me know that you're still here. I know, that's just kind of a cheap way of getting people commenting. But either that or you guys can still hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the like button. It's free to do, but it's going to make your day so much better knowing you hit the like. I don't know. That's not really a thing, but I like to pretend it is. You can hit the dislike button too if you want. So, what has everybody got planned for the weekend? Is anybody going on any hunts? Oh, there we go. Oh, I've missed a bunch. All right, so let me scroll. I gotta scroll. All right, so definitely smaller scale. Yep, just got here. What's going on? Star Wars collectible or Star Toys collectibles? Not a whole lot. We're just making a diorama. Okay, and you're doing huge fight scene from Maximum Carnage comic run with Doppelganger Carnage, Demogoblin, and his boys against Venom, Spidey, Black Cat, and the others. Have you read that series? I don't think I have. I don't think I've read Maximum Carnage. So I had the Marvel Unlimited subscription for, gosh, it was a few years. And then this year, this Christmas, I actually let that subscription go, and I really wish I hadn't, but I haven't read anything recently, which I need to get back into that. But it's just been, I haven't had a lot of time with doing all the YouTube videos and school and kids, family, all of that sort of stuff. I just haven't had a huge amount of time to read. Though I do enjoy Carnage. I really enjoy reading the Venom, all of the Venom storylines. I'm one of those people, though. I have a terrible memory. So, you know those folks that have kind of that, they remember everything. Everything that they've ever read. Everything that they've ever watched. I literally couldn't tell you much about the last movie that I watched, which I technically haven't finished. And that's one of the reasons is it's very rare that I can sit down and watch an entire movie all in one sitting. This is tonight, if I get a chance to finish it. Gosh, what is it? It's the one with Christian Bale. It's a Western. Forget what that movie is. Hostels. If I get a chance to continue watching that tonight, that will be the 4th night in a row. So yeah, I don't really know the point of the movie yet. Still. Justin, you're still here. Awesome. Still here, IE. Awesome. Thank you, guys. How much for a Spider-Man inspired building scene for the figure scene I'm doing? Oh, gosh. So I don't do commissions. I've had more than enough people, especially after the TRU dio, more than enough people say they would like to be on the list for considering a commission, but I'm still not really jumping into that realm. This one, however, is going to be sold. And I hate to just be that guy that doesn't say what it's going to be, other than it's a brick building. But yeah, this one will be my first one that I actually sell. You know, and I've given away a couple thus far. I gave Rube de Great a small 1/18 scale diorama, and then the Toys R Us one. But otherwise, I've kept all of my dios. And I decided that I need to stop just making them for myself, because I make a lot less of them then. I just don't, because I don't have a lot of space. That kind of keeps me from making them. So I decided this year I'm going to start doing more so that I can move them, but I'm going to sell them. But I'm not doing commissions where I just take an order. I'm going to make what I'm going to make, and people can buy it if they want it. So, and I don't know the going rate for dioramas, which is another reason why I kind of want to make one and then sell it. I might, what up, BJ Palm? What I might do is I may just put it up for people to make an offer. So, but I want them to be able to see what it is that they're getting before I do, you know, before I do that. So once this is done, people will see it, and somehow I'll probably maybe put it up through my Facebook or something like that, and then it'll be, you know, PayPal. I hate to do eBay and do an eBay bidding thing, just because, one, eBay is dumb, and the amount of money that they take, I get it, they got to make some money. It just feels like the percentage that they're getting for doing practically nothing by now. I mean, they really haven't updated their system in so many years. I could see if they were really updating the platform and making it so much better, then I could see that. But they really don't. They don't update that system at all. It's really been pretty stagnant. So I don't know what they're spending their money on aside from advertising and whatever else. So, but maybe I'm in the dark for what their business plan is, aside from, and I'm not going to disparage anybody for making $1 or 10 or a million. I don't care. But you know, it is what it is. If I don't have to pay a commission to eBay to be able to sell something that I made, I mean, obviously you got to pay PayPal, but that's just a money transfer charge. So I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys think I should throw this up on eBay and just make it a bid and then find out what the value is? I don't know. If I get the itch to do a warehouse scene, or you read Maximum Carnage, you get inspired, I'd pay for sure. You know, I've heard that quite a bit from folks, which gives me, you know, it makes me feel pretty darn good that people seem to like the work that I do, which is pretty darn cool. But yeah, a lot of brickwork. I do a lot of brickwork. We shall see. The next one that I do, I actually got some bamboo shoots that I was thinking about making like a nighttime. Well, it doesn't have to be nighttime, but a wooded scene that would actually be quite simple. I've got some picture ideas, some ACBA ideas. There's a guy, I want to say his name, I'm going to get it wrong, but I think it's Johnny Woo. He's an ACBA guy. I could be wrong on his name, but I'm pretty sure it's Woo, Johnny Woo. Does some really amazing shots, and he does some really cool night shots. And he does scenes where there is, it's like it's snowing, and he basically just uses bread flour as the snow, and he just kind of like sifts it down onto the scene as he takes the picture. Just some of the most amazing. There's a lot of guys that do that kind of stuff. I just know that this guy was the first one that I had ever seen doing it, and just consistently putting together some amazing shots. So I'd like to try and recreate something similar to what he was doing. And he was doing that with Wolverine. And so I was thinking I would like to do that with Wolverine, but clearly there's plenty of other characters you could do that with. Heck, with the Star Wars, you could do something very similar. Maybe it doesn't need to be a snow scene, though it could, with Kylo Ren and what's-her-face when they were squaring off. You could just do like dust falling or sparks. There's some cool, really cool pictures I've seen where people are using firecrackers. It's just amazing what people come up with for their action figure art. So I don't know. That's what I need to get into a little bit more. I've been trying to do a little more with Instagram. My pictures are fairly I wouldn't say that they're anything special. I'm really just trying to figure out my thing with that, you know, but I feel like I'm getting a little bit better. Excuse me. All right, maximum. Let's see, maximum carnage or any street or building dial painted in that sharp, bright video game colors would be cool too. Yeah, that would be cool. I also thought about a Nintendo, like Mario dial. That would be kind of cool. It'd be pretty easy to do too, because it doesn't really require a lot of detail work to do that. Heck, you could do a Minecraft. I don't know if people are still doing Minecraft. I keep seeing that stuff all over at the stores. I don't know if I wouldn't probably do it because I've never done Minecraft, but people still, I think maybe that's more of kids. I don't know. I'm a little out of touch, I think. All right, so we just finished that realm or wave. So the tricky part with this section is because I've got this and it's very, very thin, I can't cut my grooves very deep along here. So I got to be really careful as I'm doing that I don't cut too deep. Otherwise, as I'm cutting out my bricks, I'll just cut the bricks, or I'll just cut all this out. So I got to be careful. So what we got to do is we got to continue measuring out some more bricks. So here we go. So these are, what was I doing? I was doing about 5 millimeters. So we're going to continue that. We might as well continue it, putting them on the same side, all of our dots. Okay, so here we go. How was I doing that? What I really should do is I should figure out a way to make like a template, a metal template that I could just lay this down and cut without having to do any measuring at all. That would be awesome. So I'm thinking the next time I do a video, it's not going to be, I'm not going to do another video while I'm just doing the brickwork. I think I'm going to do either a video on adding some texture to these bricks. I got to look a little closer at my source pick to make sure that my bricks are supposed to be textured and like what, excuse me, just how big a texture is it going to be. And so I might do a texture video, but I'm not going to do another brickwork video just because after a little while, it's like, you know, I really appreciate you guys hanging out, but I can't imagine making you guys sit through a whole nother video of me working on bricks, unless you guys like listening to me just ramble, which it seems like some of you do, which is pretty cool. Plus, if you got questions, I got answers, unless I don't. But yeah, I think what I'll do is get all the brickwork finished up, and then we'll work on enhancing the brick the next video, and then we'll do some paint, but I probably won't do the black wash because that's really just a slop it on kind of deal, and really isn't all that interesting unless you really think that it would be worthwhile to do that. But the problem is once you black wash it, you really kind of just need to let it sit almost all night to really get it going. So there's not a lot to show with that. And I have done a black wash tutorial video, so if you need that, go check it out. I've got the video. I don't know where it's at. I can find it. If anybody's interested, I'll go find the link. But if you're not, or you don't need it, that's fine. We're almost to the end of these dots. Oop, oop, oop. Oh, don't get there. And we'll call that good. Okay. Here we go. Really? I.e. you could watch all day? That's a little sad. No, just kidding. I'm kidding. All right. Sucks because I'm disabled veteran, so I'm home all day. So I draw and do graphic design, but I can't do dios to save my life. You know, everybody's got their thing, and I think it's awesome that you can do drawing, because I can't draw worth crap. That's why I like doing brick, because all I got to do is throw a ruler down and I can get a straight line. All right, so what else do we got? Do amazing work. I would be afraid I'd lowball if I made an offer on this one. You put in a lot of time and effort into your work, and it shows. Well, thank you, Judson. I appreciate that. And you know, the thing about it is and this is just something that I missed a dot. In life, when it comes to making an offer, you know, a lot of people are worried that they're gonna lowball and that someone's gonna be offended. I always look at it this way. The worst thing that can happen is someone can say no. And if they're going to get offended by the fact that you lowballed, even if it's, say, you know, if I were to say I was hoping to get $400 on something, and you offered me $200. And, you know, a lot of people would be like, I can't believe they just offered 50%. But here's the deal. All that person who, you know, is taking offers has to say is, no, I'm not going to take 200. And if they get offended, that just means, in my opinion, that just means that they don't understand that this is business. That, you know, you don't have to take it. You don't have to take offense, but you also don't have to take their offer. I don't know. I find it a little off-putting when people get offended because someone lowballed them. Maybe I have that mentality because I'm a super cheap person, so I fully understand trying to get a better deal. But the thing is if you don't ask, how do you know? You know? So I'll tell you this. If you offer and it is lower than I would expect, sure as heck ain't going to get offended. But I might not accept it. But I'm certainly not going to make fun of somebody for making a low offer. If somebody were to offer me $1,000 for, say, that Toys R Us diorama, I wouldn't have said no. But that would be a far too high offer. I would probably be skeptical that they weren't trying to scam me, actually. So I don't know. That's Tech Trucker's life advice. Don't worry about being offensive with low balls. I mean, obviously, if you're like, I mean, read the room a little bit. Don't offer like 75% of what the person is asking. I mean, that's probably going to get a laugh. Maybe somebody won't get offended, but they may laugh. But something like this, where if I didn't put, you know, a price tag and you got no idea, I mean, you can't blame somebody. Sorry, I don't know why I'm coughing a lot. So I'm trying to stop and take a drink as much as possible to keep from coughing too much into the microphone, because I know how annoying that can get. So now that I've given you my philosophy on making offers, what else do you want to talk about tonight? I've got the day off tomorrow, so I think I'm going to take the kids possibly to the zoo or maybe our children's museum, because this is their last weekend before school starts. The school starts on Monday. So we got to get some last hurrahs in. Good way to figure out prices. Cost of materials, shipping, set a rate for yourself. Say $20 an hour for sake of argument. If I did it by hour, this thing would be so expensive. I don't think I could do that. And the interesting thing is the cost for materials. So most of these, all of my 2-inch thick foam, I probably shouldn't say this, but most of this 2-inch thick foam I found in a dumpster by our house when a new house was being built. So most of the cost for a diorama is really for the art of it, I think, is really where you're paying your money. I could be wrong, though. But yes, I would say normally, and maybe in many cases, that is a good mechanism for figuring out how to price something. So yes, not going to disagree with that. I just had to chuckle because I know where I got a lot of this foam. What is up, Brock? And I'm about to start coughing again. Brock is in the house, everybody. So I got to give him a plug because he does some really, really cool custom action figure work and does some really, really cool live streams and tutorial videos and whatnot. So I'm going to find his link, because if he tries to put it in, it'll probably block him. But if I put it in, it won't. All right, YouTube. Why are you not showing? I shouldn't have to scroll because you are... There you are. Yeah, you're in my top. I just scrolled past you. All right. Go check out Brock's channel. There it is, linked there. I need to find IE's because I was going to link him earlier. Actually, I was going to link to Jetta as well because he popped in. So here's Jetta's. I think he's probably had to bounce off because I think he might be doing another live stream or doing one soon. But don't leave. Don't leave. Please don't leave. And then I promised IE Hunters as well, even though I'm totally jealous of him getting pre-street date stuff. Much hate. That's what she said. What did I say? Oh no, now I'm going to have to go back and watch. Alrighty. Brock is in the house. Yes, he is. All right. What up, player? I can't say that because it just comes across as sounding like a dork when I say it. Anytime I try to sound cool, it always just sounds really, really lame. So I attempt coolness 3 times a year, basically. And then I realize that I shouldn't. So I just tell myself, I show coolness through my confidence. And then my wife throws up a little bit when she hears me say that. Oh, speaking of my wife. So my wife and I had a very, very funny discussion last night. It got a little goofy. So, and I need your opinion because we got into a bit of a debate. So, tell me this. My wife said, I don't even remember what exactly we were talking about. She said what I was saying was hoppycock. And I subsequently said hoppycock, Hoppycock. Hoppycock is not a word. And she said, no, it is a word. And so I did a Google search, which I was a little nervous about doing that Google search. And it turns out on, what do you call it? Urban Dictionary, that it is a word. And it basically means BS. But it's apparently got an Old English, it derives from Old English. But the word that she was actually originally thinking of saying, I think, was poppycock, which is what we discovered later. So, what are your thoughts? Do you think hoppycock is really a word if it's only in the Urban Dictionary? Not saying it doesn't exist, but is it truly a word? Now, I gave my wife a hard time, and I kept telling her, no, it doesn't. That was more so just because I felt I had to disagree with her. I'm not entirely sure, because I don't really know. I don't think just because it's in Urban Dictionary means that it's real. But if it was an Old English word, I guess it is a real word. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Life with Brock is going to be gone. Okay, everybody can do fun stuff now. No, just kidding. Google is horrible to look stuff up. I got tricked into blue waffle. Blue waffle. Oh, great. Now I'm going to have to go look that up. So I actually, I said I Googled it. I technically didn't Google it. So I use Bing, which everybody's going to be like, what? I didn't know anybody actually uses Bing. That sounds stupid. Why would you do that? Well, here's the reason that I use Bing. 2 reasons. And the first reason is going to sound funny since I'm using YouTube right now. And YouTube is a Google-owned product, but I do not trust Google all that much. That's not the main reason, though. That's really not the main reason. The main reason is I use Bing because Bing pays me to use it. Now you're like, what? How does Bing pay you? And how much does Bing pay you? First off, Bing doesn't pay very much. And it's a rewards program. And it's called Bing Rewards. Hello, I am kind of live. So if you don't want to be on TV, that is okay. Or not TV. Do you need to tell me anything? No? Okay. I told them about hoppycock.
It's a real word.
Well.
So is poppycock.
Yeah. We're going to see. Yeah, they're not really disagreeing too much. My wife is here right now. So I told them about the hoppycock thing. Anyway, so the Microsoft Rewards, I think is what it's called. Not Bing Rewards. It used to be Bing Rewards. Anyway, so if you do enough searches, basically you can get points, and then you can redeem those points for $5 Amazon gift cards. And I've gotten a few of those. So I've gotten a few action figures for free, which is pretty cool. I would say I've maybe gotten $200, which is kind of cool. But it takes a long time. So don't get your hopes up that you're going to be making a butt ton of money on that. But, you know, it supplements the hobby, kind of. So anyway, Urban Dictionary is BS. I would agree with that. But if it does have a Old English origination, then I guess I can't fight with it too much. Although I probably will still continue fighting with it a little bit just because it's poppycock. Anyway, word of the day for you, poppycock. Just be careful that people know what it is exactly that you're saying. Anyway. So, all right. So we're basically, if you're not familiar with the process here, pencil, we're just using that to widen the gaps in the brick just a little bit, but being mindful of the thickness here. I'm not going very deep. Otherwise, that would be problematic, to say the least. The nice thing is you can do this part pretty quick. Just make sure you don't get sloppy. Otherwise, your pencil's going to jump the line, and you're going to have to figure out if you're going to make that into a crack or if you are going to fill that in with some filler. Ah, see, there I went. That one will cover up pretty easily. Did I miss? No, I didn't. I feel like I didn't get very deep on this one. All right. Cool beans. Oh, you heard it used by Grandpa on Rugrats, so it's real. Oh, well, I'm going to have to tell my wife that you are in agreement. Don't look that up. But the wife is always right. Happy wife, happy life. This is true. But sometimes it's fun just to, like, I don't know. No, it's not. All right. So we got to continue on with these. Let's jump in here. What do we got? We've got, okay, that's going to be 17. Alrighty. 15, 16, 17. 10, 15. All right, so let's talk action figures a little bit. What figures are you guys hunting right now? Are you finding anything of any, interest to you to actually that's worth taking home? My town has been pretty dry lately. There's not a whole heck of a lot new that has showed up either at my Targets, Walmart. I haven't checked GameStop in a bit, but I don't really like their prices on Legends, so I don't buy stuff there very often. So what are you guys hunting? And are you succeeding? I'm not used to cutting from the bottom up. That's awkward feeling. Huh. So one of the things that I really want to find one of these days soon is Bishop from the new X-Men Deadpool wave. I really need to find him. I don't feel I need to complete that wave. I don't know anything about Sauron. It looks really cool. Don't get me wrong. But I'm trying not to just buy everything for the sake of it looking cool, even though I don't know anything about it. So unless I were able to get it at an extraordinarily low price for all of the figures in the wave, or I could find the Build-A-Figure pieces cheap, I will probably pass on most of them in that wave. Though I do want the boxer short Deadpool. All right, Judson, have a good night. Sleep well, my friend. Thank you for joining. Work in the morning. I'm lucky I don't. Bishop and Old Toy Biz, mainly Doppelganger and Carnage for the scene. I get that. Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, I'm... and then what else am I hoping to get? Oh, I need to get a Doc Ock still. That's the only one from that wave that I want. The rest of that wave, to me, is an easy pass. Only because I'm just not a fan of them. I don't need another Scarlet Spider version. I'm happy with the one from the Rhino wave. I don't need the House of M Spidey. It's just, to me, it's so similar to all the others. And, you know, I like Spider-Man, but he's not one of my favorites that I have to have every single version. Batman and the Turtles are kind of, and Deadpool are kind of that for me, and Cable. Geez, I'm kind of mentioning a lot. But otherwise, I don't feel as though I need to have every version of, you know, all these different characters. So that helps keep me a little bit more on, or focused, so that I can stretch my dollar. Ooh, I've been doing this for an hour, and I haven't made a huge amount of progress. Such is life, I guess. So one of the other things that I've been wanting to get into more of, and I mentioned this at the beginning of the video, is the Batman animated series figures. So I scored the Harley Quinn just the other day at my local comic book shop. So originally I went in because he told me that he had the new Thanos Diamond Select. And unfortunately, when I got there and he put it up on the table, it was the original Thanos Diamond Select. I stupidly didn't specify specifically. Yeah, that's redundant. I didn't specify that I wanted the Infinity War one, which I didn't realize at the time, stupidly. I didn't realize that that is an exclusive, a Disney Store exclusive. So yeah, so that was a bummer. So I told him, I said, I apologized. I said I wish I would have been a little more clear about what my expectations were, but I don't want that Diamond Select version of Thanos. It is, it's a nice enough figure, but that is not what I want. And he was nice enough because it wasn't one of those things where, I think he's pretty confident he'll be able to sell it without any issues. So hopefully. But I looked around the store and he had this Harley Quinn figure for $14. I thought that's a pretty good deal. So now I am going down that rabbit hole, I guess. I got to figure out which. I don't feel the need to have to get every single one from the series and the show. But obviously I got to have Batman, got to have Robin, got to have Poison Ivy, got to have Catwoman, Batgirl, Mr. Freeze. So there's more than enough that I just gotta have. Gotta have. Ow, ow, ow. My elbow just cracked. So yeah, there's that. Let's just pencil these, get these done. Make it a little more obvious. So I know there was, I don't remember who it was that had mentioned that they would love to have a Batman animated diorama. So if you're still watching, which of those Batman animated series figures do you have? Do you have them all? I've heard from some folks to be careful because they can be a little bit delicate or fragile. So I'd love to hear, if you're still on, your experience with them and what all you've got, etc. I'm trying to figure out where to, I guess I've already begun, but where to continue with my collecting. Because some of them are up in price, which is a bit of a bummer because I know I'm late to that game. But I've been watching the series on Amazon Prime, which I wish Amazon was like a sponsor of mine. That would be cool. That would be awesome. They aren't. I feel like I buy enough stuff from them, but I suppose everybody does. I'm guessing the guy that was talking about them must not be on anymore. That's okay. All right. So for those of you that are still here, I had mentioned before that the next video would be likely some enhancement of the brick type of work rather than actual brickwork. Is that something that you guys are interested in seeing? I don't know. Just trying to find out what people find interesting and don't. I try not to do too many things that are going to be boring, because it's never fun to put out a video that nobody's going to watch. But it's also one of those things that you don't want to pander, because that's lame too. Had to make a patrol. So what do you do at work? And what's up, the wise bird? Welcome. Welcome. Glad you could join. So patrol, does that mean police work, or is that something else? Or security? I don't know what all kinds of jobs you do a patrol on. Military. I know they do patrols. I don't know. I'm sounding stupid right now. You know, that's the cool thing. I appreciate, you know, you stepping away and then coming back and still watching. That's, you know, that is something that I really appreciate. That's really cool. It's definitely not something that anybody who makes videos on YouTube can take for granted. I mean, I guess maybe the people that are huge YouTubers that really don't have any shortage of viewers. But for us small potatoes guys, I really appreciate that. You would step away and then come back and watch more. That's cool. Security officer. Facility is boring this time of night. But you know what? I would imagine boring's probably better than active. I mean, depending on what kind of facility. You probably don't want to have a lot of activity going on, especially if it means danger. At least I wouldn't. But I'm not exactly the most, what would it be? I'm not going to say I'm the most brave or valiant kind of person. So I don't really want conflict in my life. All right. Boring preferred. Nailed it. And I'm going to assume that you maybe can't tell me what kind of facility. And that is A-okay. I'm not going to pry. Is that 7? Yep. But I will ask, and you can say no. My dad did security for a hydroelectric dam for, I don't know, it was probably a year and a half, something like that. Maybe it was more than that. He really enjoyed it. But he was very interested in that kind of stuff. He just thought, you know, dams were cool, and, you know, he just thought that was pretty cool. He didn't do that for his career. He did that later on in life. My dad was a farmer for his primary trade, and then he was a bus driver as well. And then he went on later to work at the dam, and he and my mom started a candle. They made soybean candles for many years. They traveled around to all sorts of different craft fairs and whatnot. And then after a while, it just got to be too much. So there's a little bit of history, I guess. Perfect. The wise bird is back too. Friends are in drama. You'll be back. Why would you want to go to the drama? You want to avoid the drama. That's what I say. Avoid the drama. So, walk away from the friends. Unless they're actually fighting and you need to break them up before they kill each other or something. Don't let them do that. All right. You guys have quite the attention spans. I'm amazed at how long it always takes to get this stuff done. Unfortunately, I am a very slow brick worker. You'd think it shouldn't be, and probably isn't for other people, but it is a slow process that I haven't figured out how to speed up yet. They called you to it. They really need you. Yeah. Sometimes the friends, they need somebody to bring them back to reality or whatever. I'm making some assumptions about what kind of drama it is, which I probably shouldn't. So are these friends roommates, or are they just friends who are over? I feel like it's really dark in here. I guess not. So is anybody working on a diorama right now while I'm working too? I thought it was cool last time. There were a few of you guys working on your own diorama at the same time, which was pretty cool. I thought that was awesome. It was like we were at a Michael's and we were sitting around the little crafting table together. Okay, that just made it sound really lame. Roommates. Yeah. Oh no, friend framed for something. Well, that's not fun. Yeah, I do my best to avoid as much drama as I can. It's a little easier when you're older, married with kids, and don't have to have other roommates. I think the married and having kids and having a relatively stable household helps to not have much drama. I mean, it doesn't mean that we don't have drama. We just have a different kind. We have kid drama. So I am not claiming that we have a drama-free home. It's just different drama. And being the parent and the parent of kids who are not teens yet, we're going to enjoy that while it lasts. Because I can't imagine there won't be drama from the kids, if you know what I mean. Especially as they get older. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this, and then we'll probably call it a night. All right, so Wise bird, you're saying you have all the materials for dioramas and just too darn lazy to start or to work on it. Well, my friend, I was trying to come up with something motivational. I don't have any good motivational things to say other than now is the time. If you get started now and you work just a little bit at a time, in no time, you'll be done. And I totally understand getting started, taking that first step. It's like Bilbo Baggins said, if you don't trip on your own feet on the first step, and then I forget exactly what he said. But anyway, the idea is taking that first step is the most important, and all the rest will come. So what I would say is if you can come up with some sort of goal that you can push yourself towards, maybe that will motivate you to give it a go and get started. But I have a feeling, I'm just taking a stab here, that maybe, just maybe, it's not just laziness that's maybe stopping you. Because oftentimes I will attribute my reason for not starting on a project as laziness. But oftentimes for me, for myself, and I could be completely wrong about other folks, but for me, it's the fear of not knowing if I can do it, or not really, or I'm a little bit afraid that I don't know how to do it, or that I'm going to mess it up, that I'm not going to get it perfect, that what's in my head won't be what shows up. And for me, I just have to tell myself that, one, I have to put myself into a bit of a realistic mindset of course it's not going to look exactly the way that I have in my head. Because in some respects, it almost can't. Because what I have in my head oftentimes is a real building. And it's never going to look like the real building, like perfectly. So as long as you're careful about not being too much of a perfectionist, then you may very well be able to get started, and it may not be perfect, but it's going to be a million times better than not having anything. And then you'll have your next idea and the next idea, and you'll just continue having ideas until you've built them all. And then you run into that problem of a mind block of having no more ideas. It's kind of like writer's block. I have not run into that problem yet. I have too many. And oftentimes the issue that now stops me from starting is I don't know which project to start on next, because they're all cool. And I know that they're all going to take me forever. And so I'm like, well, I don't want to commit to this one, because what if I really want this one instead first? And so then what happens is I wind up spending a month humming and hawing about which one I could be starting on. And I could have had one almost done. So oftentimes we shoot ourselves in the foot. So I'm yammering on. I could be way off base. I should check. Okay, good. I haven't at least said something that was so off base that you're like, dude, just stop talking about that. You're completely wrong. Or maybe you're thinking it, but you don't want to tell me. That's okay. That is okay. So I'm thinking about taking the wife to a movie. Oh, I think this weekend. It's the new Mark Wahlberg movie. I think it's called Mile 22. Mile 22. I haven't really seen anything about it, but I know my wife likes Mark Wahlberg. So that's completely off subject, but I thought I would tell you guys because I don't remember when this even released. August 17th. So has anybody seen that movie? Looks good. Pretty much anything Wahlberg puts out seems to be pretty good. One, he's really good with action flicks, and he's actually really good with comedies. He's a funny guy. He's pretty versatile. I like him. I think he's a pretty cool actor. My wife likes him. So figured we'd go do that. We've got a relatively new restaurant in town, so we're going to go check that out. So we got a pretty nice little Saturday night planned. You know, maybe we'll hit the Home Depot if there's time. Anybody know what movie reference that is from? If you don't, I'm scared for you. All right, so we've been doing this for an hour and a half, which is pretty darn awesome. It is 10:30 my time, which is Central Standard Time, and we are getting close to being done with this front portion of the brick. And like I said, I am going to do the rest of the brickwork, just the brick cutting, off camera on whatever time I have, so that way then I can maybe not do, I don't typically do big, large 2-hour blocks of diorama time, which is one of the reasons why it takes so long. But I'll be able to pick away at this, get all my brickwork done, because I still have a bunch. I still have to do a portion of, oops, you can't see. I have to do a portion of this, even though a lot of it's going to get covered, because I'm going to have some doorway here. I'm going to have a window here. So that doesn't need to get cut. But this whole side needs to get cut with brickwork as well. And I started the other one, but I haven't gotten very far with it. But I did do most of this side. So I've got a pretty good start on it. And then I've got to do this entire chunk as well, all the same size brick. So I still have a lot of brick to do. Yay! So yeah, like I said, I don't know when the next video will be of doing the live work, but it will be enhancing the brick, and it might include some crack, you know, cutting some cracks. It might include crack. Nice. And then we may end the video with a black wash. It depends on how far along I get. So if that sounds fair to you guys, that is what I will plan for. But I don't know when specifically that's going to be, because Monday I start class. And I've got 2 online classes. And one of them is applied calculus. And then the other one is microeconomics. There, we finished that up. How's that look, you guys? Still got 5 of you on here. Awesome. I think that turned out pretty darn good. You know what? Let's put this thing together and show you so far where we're at with this whole thing. So let's see what we can do. Just so that you guys can kind of see how this is starting to come along. So Sorry for the noise. All right, so pop this over here. All righty, so let's drop this down. So basically, this is going to be it's kind of like a storefront, sort of. There's going to be doorway here, and I'll have to build that doorway. It's a big doorway with glass and whatnot. And then there's a set of windows up here, and then I still have to do like a top cap sort of thing. But that's basically, this is basically all it is. It's not super complicated. So I'm excited. I think it's definitely turning out pretty darn decent. But like I said, we're going to call it a night. Let me just check one last time in the comments to see if I missed anything. Cool. I did not. It is pretty big. It's a good sized diorama. I do things big around here. That's what she said. But that's what we got for tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already. I already know you guys are subscribed, but for anybody who's watching this later, if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. What else? That's kind of it. So have a great weekend, you guys, and thank you.